Grammar rules are ruining your English. Do you want to know why? Let's jump right in. Reason number one, when you're focusing on grammar, you're thinking too much during conversations. When you become so focused on constructing grammatically perfect sentences, you freeze up during conversations, spending precious seconds mentally checking tense agreements and word order. This creates those awkward pauses and kills natural conversational flow, making your interactions awkward and unnatural rather than free-flowing. You've been there before, right? You're intelligent, you're smart, you've been studying English for a long time. You speak your first language well, but then all of a sudden, even though you've practiced English for so long and studied, someone walks up to you and says, "Hey, how are you?" You want to respond immediately, but your brain starts thinking about every grammar rule. Okay, let me make sure the verb is in the right place. Let me make sure, okay, I have this. And you freeze. No words come out. You give the awkward smile because you're thinking too much about the grammar rules. So now the question is, Tiffani, teacher Tiffani, how can I solve this problem? What are the solutions? Here's solution number one. I want you to practice speaking quickly for 2 minutes daily about any topic. Speed forces natural word flow. I want you to get your cell phone, your watch, or any other device that has a timer on it or a stopwatch. I want you to set it to 2 minutes and then speak continuously for that 2-minute period. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unnatural in the beginning. But the more you do this, the easier it will become for you to speak at a natural pace. So the next time someone comes to you, a native English speaker, asking you a question, you won't freeze because you're not focusing on grammar. You're focusing on getting the words out. Here's solution number two. Solution number two is use a timer during practice conversations. Aim to respond within 5 seconds to any question. Remember, the first solution was set a 2-minute timer and just continuously speak. This second solution is about speed, about answering quickly. Sometimes you get a question, sometimes someone asks you to speak on a topic and you pause, you freeze because you're thinking about the grammar rules. No. Remove that pause. You'll have 5 seconds, only 5 seconds to respond. Don't worry about the grammar. Get the information out. Here's solution number 3. Talk to yourself while doing daily activities like cooking, cleaning, or walking. This is funny. Now, this is not story time. Stay till the end because we have story time. Hey, but right now, I remember this happened a few days ago. I was on a call. It was a meeting, and in the meeting, we were trying to figure out something with my website. And I was on my computer. I had the individual on the phone, but I was talking to myself, walking through the steps, and the individual chuckled. He said, "It's interesting being an observer or listening to you talk to yourself as you go through your steps." Why am I telling you this? Even as your teacher, as human beings, we naturally talk to ourselves sometimes. So don't feel awkward doing this. Talk to yourself as you're cleaning, but speak to yourself in English. Remember, we're talking about avoiding the grammar stress. Instead, focusing on getting the words out. So reason number 1, why grammar is ruining your English, it causes you to think too much during conversations and stresses you out. Reason number 2, fear stops you from speaking. Again, fear stops you from speaking. Listen closely. When there's too much focus on correctness, you develop anxiety making grammatical errors, leading you to avoid speaking opportunities entirely. You'd rather say nothing than risk being wrong, missing countless chances to practice and receive natural feedback that would actually improve your fluency. Let me tell you something. I'm teaching you English. English is my first language, but I also experienced this when I was learning Korean. This feeling of nervousness, of awkwardness when you are wanting to say something, but you don't want to make a mistake. So this fear rises up and you just remain silent. I've experienced it. I know what you are going through. This is why I'm saying you have to release this. You have to stop focusing on grammar. And remember, I'm speaking to upper intermediate and advanced English learners, even intermediate. At the beginning level and the early intermediate level, you need to focus on grammar. But there comes a point in time when you need to use the grammar and not be stressed about it. And if you make a mistake, it's totally okay. Fear stops you from speaking. So Tiffani, you're asking, what are the solutions? Here's solution number 1. Start conversations with store clerks, waiters, or service workers using simple topics. You have to remove that fear. You have to break the ice. Just start a conversation. When you walk into a store, you start the conversation. When you're at a restaurant about to get your food, you start the conversation. We're talking about breaking that fear. Solution number 2, practice recording yourself talking for 2 minutes about your day. Remember, in the first reason, I said set a 2-minute timer. But for this one, for this solution, for this reason, I want you to practice by talking for 2 minutes and recording yourself. It's interesting what happens. You don't have to be around anyone. You can be alone in your room at home. The moment you hit that record button, the same feeling you would have if you were sitting in front of someone, it will come up. This is why you practice by recording yourself. But talk about your day. You know what you did. You know who you met. Talk about your day for 2 minutes. Solution number 3. Call businesses to ask their hours or location instead of looking online. Listen, I go to Google all the time, looking for an address, looking for a location. But for this solution, don't use Google. Instead, dial the number. Call them, speak English. Ask them. You're trying to break that fear. These solutions will help you break that fear. Reason number 3, why grammar is ruining your English. Reason number 3, grammar rules. Not listening to real English. Listen closely. The third reason why the rules are ruining your English is because not listening to real English hinders your fluency. When you focus heavily on grammar, remember, I'm not saying that grammar is not important. Grammar is important, but for you as an English learner, when you focus too heavily on it, it causes issues. So when you focus heavily on grammar, you often spend more time studying rule charts than consuming authentic English content like movies, podcasts, or conversations. This prevents you from getting the natural language patterns and rhythms that native speakers actually use, creating a disconnect between learned rules and real usage. If you're only studying grammar, if you're only using a book to learn English, listen closely. You will never sound like a native English speaker. If you only focus on the rules and never come out to real life to hear how native English speakers speak, you will never speak English fluently. So now the question is, Tiffani, what are the solutions? I'm so glad you asked. Solution number 1, watch reality TV shows where people speak naturally and spontaneously. Listen, my friend, I understand because I went through the same thing. When I was learning Korean, I decided when I got to the point at the upper intermediate and advanced Korean level, I had to switch the way I was studying. I had to stop focusing on the grammar rules so much, and I started watching reality TV shows. I started watching how Koreans actually interacted with each other in real life. You need to do the same. Watch how native English speakers interact with each other in real life. And notice whenever I make a mistake when I'm teaching you, I leave them in the videos. That's purposely done. Why? Because I want you to realize, wait a minute, if my teacher made a mistake in her pronunciation or in her grammar, and she kept going and she's a native English speaker, I shouldn't be stressed either. Exactly. That's why I don't edit these slip-ups out of the videos. I want you to realize it's okay. Solution number 2. Listen to podcasts during your daily commute. When you're driving to work or riding the train or riding the bus, put your headphones in and listen to podcasts where native English speakers are having conversations about topics you are interested in. Solution number 3. Follow live streams on Twitch or YouTube where creators interact naturally with viewers. Right now, as your English teacher, me, Teacher Tiffany, I am teaching you things. I am giving you tips. But there are so many other amazing online English teachers and creators who can also help you, watching them have natural conversations. So again, you need to listen to real English. Now, I'm going to continue to our 4th reason. But as I'm speaking about this, explaining to you the importance of listening to and watching real English conversations, I want to bring you to our sponsor for today, which is actually my program. This program is a course called the 365-Day English Study Plan. You can enroll in the course by going to speakenglish.com/365plan. Now, why is this so important? This plan gives you a lesson for each day of the year. And within the lessons, I have included conversations between myself and other native English speakers. So there are days when you can just observe and listen to me speak with others in a natural way. So if you'd like to keep studying with me, you can go and enroll in the course by going to speakenglish.com/365plan. Now let's move to our 4th reason why grammar rules are ruining your English. Here's the 4th reason: not learning common everyday phrases. English, my friend, is full of expressions that break traditional grammar rules. Listen, we have so many expressions, so many colloquial terms that literally break grammar rules. For example, how come instead of why? Instead of me asking someone why, I could say, how come? That's grammatically incorrect. Or I could say, I'm good instead of I'm well. I'm good is grammatically incorrect. However we say it, we use this expression on a regular basis. When you're obsessed with grammar, you often sound overly formal or robotic because you've never learned these natural rule-breaking phrases that make speech sound authentic. So what are the solutions? Again, reason number 4 why grammar rules are ruining your English: you're not learning everyday common phrases. So how do you learn the phrases? Solution number 1. Write down interesting phrases you hear in movies and use them in conversations the next day. Get a notebook. I've showed you many times before, I keep a notebook on hand for things that I want to write down. Get your own notebook, and every day when you hear an interesting phrase, even if you're watching my lessons or listening to this via the podcast, and you hear me use a phrase you've never heard before, write that down, hun, and then try to use it immediately the next day. Solution number 2, mimic the exact phrases characters use in your favorite TV shows during similar situations. So if you're watching a TV show and your favorite character just happens to be in a situation that is either happy or sad or maybe tense, and he or she uses a certain phrase, write it down, and I want you to try to use it in the same situation. When you are feeling happy, when you are feeling sad, when you are in a tense situation, remember, that character used the expression when she was or when he was feeling this way. Let me try to do the same. And number 3. Solution number 3 is create a voice memo collection of phrases you hear and practice saying them while driving. Take out your phone or whatever device you have, record yourself and practice saying them as you're driving or as you're on your commute, as long as the people around you won't be irritated. All right, so again, reason number 4, not learning common everyday phrases, and now you have 3 solutions to overcome this issue. Reason number 5, caring more about perfect grammar than communication. Man, this one right here is important to me. Again, listen closely. Caring more about perfect grammar than communication. This is an issue. When you become so focused on perfect grammar, you lose sight of the main goal, being understood. The main goal of communication is being understood and also understanding. You might spend 30 seconds creating a grammatically perfect response while the conversation has moved on, when a slightly imperfect but immediate response would have been far more effective. Now remember, I'm not encouraging you to be incorrect all the time. I'm not encouraging you to not use the grammar rules you do know. Remember, I'm saying when you focus so much on grammar rules, it will affect your ability to communicate because you get stressed. So again, caring more about perfect grammar more than communication is not good. So what are the solutions? Solution number 1, focus on, listen closely, focus on communicating your main point using the simplest words possible. Focus on getting your main point across. When you finish speaking, what do you want the individual who has been with you to remember? Focus on that. Not on all of the grammar rules. Focus on communicating using the simplest words possible. Solution number 2, practice saying, "What I mean is," when your first attempt wasn't clear. Powerful. Listen. Let's say you're in a conversation and you're expressing yourself, but you can see by the person's facial expressions, they are not understanding you. Don't get flustered. Don't get nervous. Don't get anxious. Instead, say, "What I mean is," and restate your idea, your opinion. Say it one more time. It's okay. "What I mean is," and that actually will reset their brain. Like, okay, let me listen again. He or she is going to restate it. "What I mean is," a powerful phrase. And solution number 3, ask, "Do you understand my idea?" Instead of worrying about how you said it. After you shared your thought, after you've shared your opinion, after you've shared your idea, if you want to verify if they understood, say, "Hey, do you understand my idea?" Not, "Was my grammar perfect? Oh, sorry, my accent." No, "Do you understand my idea? Did I communicate well?" This is how you master the English language, my friend. Stop being so stressed about grammar rules. Stop being so afraid to speak. Speak, my friend, and remember to focus on communication over perfect grammar. Reason number 6, not learning how English really sounds. When you focus only on the grammar rules, it's an issue because you're not learning how English really sounds. Listen closely. Grammar-heavy approaches often ignore the musical aspects of English. Stress patterns, intonation, and connected speech. You might use perfect grammar, but it will be difficult for others to understand you because you haven't learned how English actually sounds when spoken naturally. Think about this. As your teacher, again, my job, my passion, my desire is to help you master this English language and to speak with confidence. Because this is my desire, I make sure that I'm giving 110% while I'm teaching you, and I make sure that I'm speaking in a way that's interesting. My voice goes up sometimes and then comes down. When I get your attention, when I want to grab your attention, what am I doing? Changing my intonation, the patterns I'm using, the flow. I speed up sometimes, then I slow down. You have to master these natural flows. How? 3 solutions right here. Solution number 1, shadow, mimic, copy native speakers by repeating everything they say immediately after hearing it. My friend, you can copy me. You can mimic me, baby, if you'd like. As I'm speaking, try to repeat immediately right after me. Pause, rewind, say it again. Pause, rewind, say it again. Practice shadowing native speakers by repeating everything they say immediately after hearing it. Solution number 2, record yourself copying the exact tone and speed of movie characters. As you're watching movies, record yourself trying to sound like them and then listen to yourself. Try to match what you heard with the way you spoke. This is an important practice. And solution number 3, practice reading children's books aloud with exaggerated expressions and emotions. I love reading my niece stories at night. When I go to my sister and brother-in-law's house, if I'm there in the evening and she's about to go to sleep, she'll ask me to read a story. So I'll read a book. Now, when you're reading a book to a child, you know you can't read in a monotone voice. The boy ran over and he saw his friend. No, the boy ran over and he saw his friend. Why? Because we know that children need to be engaged. So we change the tone of our voices, do the same thing. Get a children's book and change your intonation. Be excited sometimes, then pull back. Practice this. This will help you improve. Reason number 7, correcting natural learning too much. When you focus on the grammar rules instead of communication, you actually correct natural learning too much. What does this mean, Teacher Tiffani? Glad you asked. Children learning their first language make regular errors, like saying goad instead of went. This shows, though, that they're actually learning patterns, not just memorizing. When grammar instruction corrects every single mistake, it can actually, listen closely, it can actually interrupt your natural learning processes instead of allowing patterns to develop naturally. When you correct every single mistake, you're halting your learning journey. My students will tell you, again, my students that have joined my courses and also my academy, they'll tell you, they'll say, when I first joined Tiffani's Academy, I was kind of shocked because she didn't correct me. When we had live classes, she didn't correct me each and every time I made a mistake. However, over time, my grammar, my speech, my fluency improved. My friend, this ain't my first rodeo. There's an expression, learn that one. I know what I'm doing as an English teacher, and other English teachers also know what they're doing. We understand how the brain works, how the mind processes, and if every time as your English teacher, again, in the beginning you need lots of correction, but remember, I'm focused on the intermediate and advanced English learner. If I stop you every single time you make a mistake, instead of me being an encourager, you'll see me as a disciplinarian. You'll see me as someone focused on your mistakes instead of someone here to encourage you, someone here that believes in you. Now, I'll tell you this, once I see that my students are confident and comfortable when they're in a live class with me and other students, then I'll make a correction. Why? Because their confidence is here, and I'll say, hey, change it to this, keep going. Because the confidence has been built. So for you, my friend, as you're watching and listening to this lesson, what are the solutions to this issue? Solution number 1, focus on being understood rather than being perfect when speaking. Focus on being understood rather than being perfect. The person who's listening to you, can they understand you? Success. Solution number 2, Celebrate. Come on. Celebrate. Celebrate successful communication moments when people understand your meaning. You are intelligent. Don't forget this. Don't forget this point I'm making right now. You are smart. You are intelligent. You have the ability to master this English language. So when you do something well, when someone understands you, celebrate it. Remind yourself that you are doing good. Solution number 3. Notice which words and phrases feel natural to you and use them more often. There are many words in the English language, but native English speakers, we don't use all of the words. We use the words that we individually like, and we use them on a regular basis. So my friend, do the same thing. The words or the phrases that feel comfortable to you, use them often. So again, the reason why focusing on grammar rules is ruining your English, reason number 7, it's correcting natural learning too much. Reason number 8, not learning social and cultural rules. When you're so focused on the grammar rules, you're so focused on the rules, you miss out on learning social and cultural rules. Let me explain. Grammar rules don't teach you when it's appropriate to use formal versus informal language, how to be polite without being too respectful. How to be polite without being too respectful, or how to understand implied meanings. You might use grammatically correct terms, but socially inappropriate language, creating awkward interactions. Just studying the grammar rules won't help you learn when and how to use what you're learning. So what are the solutions? Again, keep in mind, every little mistake, every little hiccup, I'm leaving in the video why, so that you can realize what I'm saying is true. It's not inhibiting me. It's not prohibiting you from understanding, is it? You're understanding, you're following along. That's what I want you to realize. Keep it moving, baby, don't stop. 3 solutions, here we go. Solution number 1, watch workplace comedies to see how people talk differently to bosses versus friends. It's so true. When I was in corporate America, before I opened my own business, I would speak to my boss one way and then to my coworker who became my friend in a different way. You need to learn how these things work by observing. Solution number 2, take note of how people speak, how they talk in movies. Then write these observations in a notebook. You're learning even as you're enjoying watching a movie or listening to a podcast. Just jot things down like, very interesting. And solution number 3, observe body language and tone of voice in different social situations to understand context. She's smiling, but her voice sounds very stern. Reading the room, understanding the clues. 3 solutions to help you learn social and cultural rules. And reason number 9 why focusing on grammar rules only is ruining your English. Speaking like a textbook and not naturally. When you only focus on grammar rules, you'll sound like a textbook. You won't sound natural. Listen closely. Heavy grammar focus creates speakers who sound like walking textbooks. Technically correct, but unnaturally formal and predictable. Listen, I've experienced all of these things I'm teaching you. I experienced them when I was studying Korean. My friends told me after I had passed the basic level, the beginner level, got to intermediate, and I was at the intermediate trying to get to upper intermediate, but my Korean friends would say, Tiff, your grammar is right, but you don't sound natural. I understand what you're feeling. You see, when you do this, you miss the contractions, sentence fragments, and flexible words and word orders that are part of natural, fluent speech. making you sound like a non-native speaker, even when your grammar is perfect. It happened to me. So what are the solutions? The solutions that will help you overcome this issue. Solution number 1, copy the exact speaking style of your favorite English speaking actor or YouTuber. Maybe I'm your favorite YouTuber. Maybe there's someone else. Whoever it may be, mimic that individual. Practice speaking like he does or like she does. Solution number 2, practice starting conversations with casual phrases like so or anyway, starting them casually. And solution number 3, practice telling the same story in 3 different ways: a casual way, an excited way, and then a very serious way. This will help you improve your English. Again, don't focus so much on grammar rules only. Again, I'm speaking to the upper intermediate, the intermediate, and the advanced English learner, not the beginner. The intermediate and advanced English learner. Stop focusing so much on the grammar rules and focus more on communication. My friend, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Remember, if you want to continue studying with me, go to www.speakenglishwithttiffany.com/365plan, and I'll talk to you in the next lesson. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, hey, hey. I said it's story time. All right. I told this story a long time ago, and it came back up because last night I was having a conversation with another friend, and this story came up. So I want to tell you the story again. There is a phrase, a motto, something to live by that says seek to hear instead of being heard. Listen closely. Seek to hear instead of being heard. And this is something that has remained on my heart and in my mind for a long time. So this story is connected to this motto and also a Bible verse. So I was in Korea. I lived in Korea for about 10 years. I was a missionary English teacher, and I also learned Korean and went to school there. So this was during, I think, my 2nd year in South Korea. And my friend and I, who was also a missionary, she was from America as well, we decided to go and get lunch together. And we went to this Indian spot not too far from the institute where we were teaching English. Now listen, this is not part of the story, not the focus, but that Indian food, oh my goodness. Indian, Thai, and Mexican, my top 3. Love them. This restaurant, my mouth is watering right now. I can still see the plate coming out to me. That's how good the food was, okay? So my friend and I decided to go to this restaurant. So we're sitting at the table, the food has come out, and we're just having a conversation, right, and eating our food. Now, in the process of the conversation, as it was going on, I don't remember exactly what the topic was, but I remember it got really tense. And I was sitting there speaking with my friend, and our conversation started turning into an argument. And there are times in life when you are sitting down or you are in a situation, but you feel like you've stepped outside and you're watching it happen. I was sitting there not too far from her because she was across from me at the table, and I was watching her face, her facial expression. She was upset. And I was asking myself in my head, how did we get here? I don't understand. Now, just that morning, I was having devotions. I'm a Christian, and I was reading the Bible, and I came upon a verse. The verse says, "A soft answer turns away wrath." Translation: when you're in a situation and it's heated, it's tense, people are upset, instead of responding also in anger, and adding fuel to the fire. There's an idiom. Instead, we are to give a soft answer. To change the vibe, to change the feelings, we need to respond calmly and in love. So I'm sitting here now, back in the situation. My friend is upset. I can see she's angry. I'm trying to figure out, okay, I wanted to respond as well in anger, but I remembered that verse. A soft answer turns away wrath. And I responded softly. Now, I know it might be hard to believe, my friend, but when I say immediately, the entire vibe changed. It was immediate. It wasn't gradual. I'm looking at my friend. She's upset. She's angry. She's going in. She is going off. And I responded softly. And her angry facial expression turned to, oh, it was immediate. So much so that it caught me off guard. And I was like, what just happened? In that moment, the Holy Spirit, God reminded me, Tiff, my word, the Bible says, a soft answer turns away wrath. I will never forget that verse because of the experience I had in that moment. And again, it connects to what I said earlier. Seek to hear instead of being heard. Initially, I wanted to give my point. I wanted to add, but no, I needed to give a soft answer and listen to her. So I hope this helps you. You might be in a situation right now. You and your friend are at odds. You and your spouse, maybe you and your coworker. Something is happening where there's a tense situation. Respond softly. Don't try to go toe to toe. Instead, respond softly and see what happens. Seek to hear what they're saying instead of seeking to be heard. Listen to them, give a soft answer, and watch what happens. My friend, I hope you enjoyed this lesson and this story, and I'll talk to you next time.